So, last month on Brits on Flicks, we decided that we were going to do top 5 science fiction movies. Then
cyber.
It was science fiction. Then Brian blew that out of the water, so I had to think of something to seat my pants, and we chose cyber sci-fi movies. And when we were trying to come up with our lists, we realised that completely balls this situation. There was no other way to put it, so we had to put our heads together. We came up with a list, but I don't think either of us were happy with them. Were we, Brian?
No, not spectacular. I did have 5, but it's just, once you narrow it down to cyber sci-fi, you then get into a discussion about, well, actually, how do we define cyber sci-fi? And I think we both kind of concluded that, okay, it has to be computer related. Like Terminator doesn't count. That's it's machines, it's robots, that kind of thing. But cybernetics. But we're talking cyber sci-fi, so computers, going into a computer world, that kind of thing. Like you've got like Lawnmower Man and crap like that. There's a few good ones, but it's let's just say it's a small market. So
it was tough. So what we decided to do at the last minute, literally before we were about to start recording, was let's just change this up. Let's go simple and do top 5 Keanu Reeves movies, because the guy has been in a lot of good movies, and it gives us a wealth to choose from. So that's what we did. So, ready to dive in. Will I start with number 5?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, my number 5 is Point Break, the beginning of the bromance movie. Terrific. Catherine Bigelow directs the hell out of this. We have Keanu Reeves as a totally tubular FBI agent. Johnny Utah, who just doesn't belong there, on this trail of bank robbers. It's fun. It's got some great action set pieces, the skydiving, the foot chase. There is a love interest of sorts, but she gets jettisoned pretty quickly once he sets his googly eyes on Patrick Swayze, and we get just a terrifically fun movie. That is one of those movies that you can watch and tear apart, poke all the holes in it, but still walk away having enjoyed yourself watching it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, my number 5 is John Wick. First John Wick film. It's a film that I wasn't that big on first time I saw it. I didn't get to see it until months after it had been released in America, because obviously I think we got it the following year. And everybody had been talking John Wick up a storm like it was the single best action film ever made, and I knew I had to see this film. So I watched it, and I don't know, I think I just put it so, like, my expectations were so up there that I think I probably went into it looking for flaws, if I'm being perfectly honest. And for some reason, it felt like there was far too much gunplay and not enough fisticuffs for my liking. And yet, I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5. But then I watched it again on Blu-ray, and I was blown away by it. It was like suddenly it clicked, and for some reason it didn't feel like it was all gunplay this time round. There was a lot of fight sequences in there, a lot of hand-to-hand combat that I was like, was I sleeping through the first time when I watched this? Because this ain't the film that I watched or remember watching last time. But no, like I got onto the hype train that second time around. So yeah, love it, absolutely love it. Brilliant action film, great character.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you there, which is why John Wick's my number 4. Now, I was sold in this movie as soon as I saw the trailer for it, and the reason I was sold on it was because of the sheer stupidity and poking fun at the premise behind these action movies. You killed my dog, I'm going to kill your whole family, your whole gang, I'm going to take down this whole cartel and gangster. It's bonkers, and it doesn't pretend to be anything else. I think it's down to the filmmaker's choice. They've made that choice to show that this is silly, this is just gratuitous violence for the sake of it, and they embrace it and deliver.
Excellent. Okay. So my number 4, basically our two are reversed because mine is Point Break. Is John Wick a better made film than Point Break? I don't know. It might be. But I feel like Point Break did something for the genre. It just, and the fact that it was directed by a woman as well. And I don't say that to belittle women, but at the time this was made, there simply weren't women working in the action genre as directors. You know, we're getting a lot more now, thankfully, and they're doing a good job with films like Wonder Woman, things like that. But yeah, when Catherine Bigelow, took on Point Break, it's kind of a question of name one woman who's directed a decent action film. You couldn't do it. So she comes out of the gate and makes a seminal action film, something that is remembered, something that has been homaged in many films. Hot Fuzz, most notably. It became pop cultural reference, a reference point. So yeah, it's great. And like you say, that whole bromance thing, and just the fact that Keanu Reeves' performance in it isn't that great, and yet there's something about it that just works because he's a surfer dude, and it's great. Great action sequences. A particular one being the foot chase when they're running through houses and just kind of, taking it. Yeah, literally running through people's living rooms and stuff, and the camera's just following them the whole time on foot. It's really well filmed. The action sequences are just really well done, and the whole thing with the masks is just like, again, it's a bit of a pop culture kind of go-to. We've seen that kind of been referenced in other movies as well. Yeah, I love it. It's a great film. Yeah, nothing more to say really.
Yeah. None of us mentioned it, but I suppose we should. This is the film that made Keanu Reeves an action guy.
Absolutely.
It took Bigelow's foresight to put him in here and make him that.
Yeah.
And if anybody listens to my top 5s regularly, there's always one that angers Bryan, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be the one. So Bryan, at number 3 we have Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
You didn't even go for the first one. I'm not a big fan of either, but you're taking Bogus Journey over Excellent Adventure? Seriously?
I am.
Wow. Okay.
Excuse me. I think Excellent Adventure is great. I love it. It's fun, but it's kind of typical. That these two doofuses get a time machine. If they do a history report, they bring the guys back. Yeah, we've seen it. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, it takes things to a ridiculous nth degree and creates even sillier situations that shouldn't belong. This is a kind of stoner comedy almost that parodies Ingmar Bergman. It's crazy. It parodies Star Trek, all different kinds of things. It takes things on a more weirder level by having them, talk to death, go on an adventure with death. It's so much fun. It's so ridiculous. It is, on the surface, just silly comedy, but I feel it's a little bit elevated by some of the things that it tackles or includes with the poking fun. Out of the two Bill and Ted's movies, I think it's the one I prefer. I do like them both.
Okay. Over Point Break, over John Wick.
If I had to pick one to watch out of those 3, I'd probably go for Bogus Journey.
Seriously?
Yeah. Wild Stallions.
Man, okay. I'd yeah.
Whoa. Bogus.
Whoa. Okay.
Not cool.
Yeah. Neither Bill and Ted film will be appearing on my list, as I'm sure you know.
There we go. You've just invalidated your list.
Whatever. But my number 3 choice is John Wick Chapter 2. This film is actually the reason that I went back and watched the first one. So I'd seen the first one, wasn't quite as big on it as everyone else, even though I did like it. somewhat. So I went to the second one, people bigging it up again. I'm like, I go into it with moderate expectations. My expectations have been tempered after my reactions to the first film. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I loved the world building. I love that actually the film does take a bit of a while to get going, but it is setting up this world, enlarging it, I guess, from the first film. And then once the action kicks off, I mean, we do get a burst of action right at the beginning, but then between that and then the next action set piece, it's quite a long while. And a lot of people, I feel, kind of didn't like that much. But once we get there, once that action kicks off, it doesn't stop, and it's brilliant, really, really brilliant. And I was just like I said, I was blown away by it. Absolutely loved it. And it made me want to go back and check that first film out just to see if, was I wrong? And I watched it and I was wrong. I still do like the second film a bit more, I think. I think I prefer the villains in it. I find the villains a bit more interesting. But yeah, just incredible. Really great sequel, and cannot wait for the third one. So
yeah. Don't have to wait long. It's this year at some point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're going to have crossover here for 1 and 2 again, Brian.
Yeah, definitely.
My 1 and 2 are interchangeable. They're both great movies, but there's just one that if I had a choice, I would pick one to watch more than the other one. My number 2 is Speed. Tremendous movie. Again, the idea is just so good. It's simple, which usually is the city best movies. There's a bomb in the bus, it goes above 50, it arms, it goes under 50, it explodes. Yeah. What more do you need? And it's so inventive and fun, and you get Sandra Bullock playing a great character as well. You get the people on the bus who actually feel like individuals, they don't just feel like typical canned fodder that you get in many of the other movies. It's exciting action set pieces, and we get Dennis Hopper as the villain, who's always great. And again, this did spark a lot of pop quiz hot shot, type of moments, which again, great movies pop into the lexicon. That did as well. I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah, I agree. My number 2 is Speed as well. I did review this over on my channel sometime early last year. It is one of my favourite action movies of all time, and for me personally, I do hold it on the same level as Die Hard. A lot of people think I'm smoking crack for saying that. I did get some comments for saying that in my review. I absolutely love Die Hard, but I absolutely love this as well. Just the concept, the characters. I actually warm to the characters more in this than I do to the characters in Die Hard. As much as I love John McClane in that first film, just this relationship between Sandra Bullock's character and Keanu Reeves, their chemistry. I love those characters and the emotions that, like the scene where she hits the pram that's full of tin cans. She doesn't know it's full of tin cans until it hits the ground, but that reaction from Bullock, this is the film that made Bullock a star. Sandra Bullock wasn't a star until this film, and it's a good reason that this made her a star, because her performance in it is brilliant. It shouldn't be underestimated just because this is an action film. It's doing things on an emotional level that really get to you, that not a lot of action films do. So yeah, for me, this is top tier action, great villain, great heroes. I love the stuff with Jeff Daniels, the partner, and there's a really interesting dynamic there, because in any of these kind of films, you always expect the partner to get killed. And then the cop who's the main hero is like, you killed my partner, man, I've got to get revenge. And the thing is, because Jeff Daniels gets taken out of action so early on in the movie, when he gets the bullet in the leg, so he's assigned to a desk job. You're never under the feeling that he's going to get taken out because he's not in any real danger at this point, you know? So when he does later in the film, it's actually quite a shock. It has impact because it's like, oh, so they subvert your expectations there by taking him out of the game early on, only to suddenly put him back in the game at a later stage in order to have him, you know, meet a tragic end. So it's a really great film. I love it. It's brilliantly written. Jan de Bont has never lived up to this as a director since. He's never done anything close to being this good. So yeah, it just goes to show you it's all down to the script, which Keanu Reeves clearly had an indication of, because he was lined up for the second one. He saw the script and he went, no, thank you. So there's some wits about him there, you know. But yeah, Speed 2, brilliant stuff.
Okay, my number one, no surprise, is The Matrix, for all the reasons we talked about. So rather than going about it, I'll ask you one question, Brian. Do you think Brad Pitt and Will Smith rue the day they turned it down?
I think they absolutely do, yeah. Well, Brad Pitt not so much, actually, because he turned it down so he could make Fight Club. So
yeah.
Being in either one of those movies, quite frankly, isn't something to scoff at. Who was the other guy, sorry? Brad Pitt?
Will Smith.
Will Smith, what did he make around 99?
Don't know.
Yeah, I think Will Smith. Yeah, Will Smith might be regretting it, but Brad Pitt not so much, because let's face it, Fight Club,
amazing,
it's a pretty good film. Yeah, The Matrix, like we said, just absolutely brilliant film that deals with lots of philosophical ideas. You know, you can come at it from a religious aspect, you can come at it just from a philosophy on life aspect. Brilliant action, brilliant visuals, some really great characters, particularly Agent Smith. Just an all-round seminal science fiction film, which for someone like me who loves his sci-fi is just grade A stuff. So yeah, Matrix, number one, definitely a worthy choice.